All right, now to an issue I know that has a lot of parents and grandparents concerned, as I've reported here on the program many times. There's now a growing number of voices within the medical community questioning the advice that underpins the treatment of young people with gender dysphoria. Overseas, there's been a number of high-level inquiries that have exposed risks with current practices, many, of course, practices that we've adopted here in Australia. So much so that centres like the Tavistock Centre in the United Kingdom, well, they've been closed down, and clinicians are adopting a more cautious approach to the prescription of puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones as they reassess the evidence. Joining me to discuss this, One Nation leader, Senator Pauline Hanson, who wants to see a similar inquiry to that which has occurred in the UK, set up here in Australia. Senator, welcome to the program. Tell me about your motion for the inquiry and the many parents and children who've asked you to help them get their voices heard.
Peter, this is the third time I've put this up for an inquiry into gender dysphoria. Now, I've had the parents who've actually walked the halls of Parliament, spoken to a lot of the politicians, have actually cried out for this inquiry because they've had their children that's gone through this puberty blockers or hormone treatment and it's destroyed their lives. So they want to get the message out there. They want an inquiry into it. Now, this is the third time. It's been knocked back in the Parliament twice already. The third time, hopefully, we might go to the vote tonight. But I'm not counting my chickens before the hatch because I don't believe it's going to get up. So it's about, let's assess the gender reassignment that they're trying to do, gender dysphoria. Let's have a discussion about it. Let the parents have a discussion. Let the specialist, psychiatrist, Dr. Gillian Spencer, who's a specialist in this area, who has questioned it as well. These people are losing their jobs because they dare speak out against it. Also, the inquiry is to look at what happened in the UK with Tavistock, that we aren't going down the same path here in Australia with destroying these children's lives with these hormone treatments, gender mutilation. That's what's happening to their bodies, and they're too young. They should not be going through this, and I'd like to see them not have these operations till at least they're 18, till they go through puberty.
Yeah, and one of the things that you've mentioned to me is the erosion of parents' rights in this area, where kids put up their hand to say they want to go down this path. There's not a lot of mental health support. Quickly it becomes physical and biological action. Many of these things, we'll get to that in a moment, they're very hard to reverse. If we've had this inquiry in the UK in Tavistock and it's seen that centre shut down, we know in Australia a lot of their guidelines have been adopted here. Why are your colleagues in the Senate so scared of an inquiry? I mean, if they think Australia's doing the right thing, why don't they just have the inquiry and prove you wrong?
It's all Labor, all the Greens, David Pocock and some of the other crossbench who are actually knocking me back on this. And there are some in the Libs. You know, those moderates within the Libs, Simon Birmingham's leading the charge, Maurice Payne, you know, they're leading the charge in this to vote to get this down. Now, Simon Birmingham got up in June, did a speech, and he referred back to a letter that Hunt got from the Royal Australian Medical College of Physicians. Now, they said that, oh, well, we don't want it. And I've got it here, Peter, and I'll just read this out so I get it clearly. And it states that in March 2020, the Royal Australian College of Physicians wrote to Mr Hunt rejecting the need for a national review into gender-affirming medicine and saying that to withhold care from children and adolescents would be unethical. Now, these calls came from what happened in Tavistock, and Cass, Dr Cass, who did a report on it, so that's why there was calls for this. But they say no, they don't need it. Now what's happened since? So Birmingham is relying on this letter that Hunt got in 2020. A lot's happened since then. But 3 weeks ago, the Medical Affairs Committee of the Endocrine Society of Australia, a subspecialty college of the Royal Australasian College of Physicians, did not support the endorsement of gender affirmative standards of care developed by influential doctors at the Royal College Children's Hospital Melbourne, pointing to concerns about the lack of evidence behind practices including placing children on puberty blockers at a very young age. So now they've actually now saying what was said to Hunt at that time is not relevant. Yet the politicians, these are the same politicians that believe that, you know, people should have a voice to Parliament, you know, for the Aboriginal people. Where's the voice to Parliament about these parents who want their concerns to be heard? These are the ones screaming out, we need a voice Parliament, but they deny other Australians the right to be heard about their concerns. What a hypocrites they are.
Good luck with your vote tonight, Pauline Hanson. I'll stay across it and thank you very much for your time. All right, just so that you are aware, I think it was after the second attempt at getting that inquiry up, Pauline Hanson was criticised, saying that the evidence from young people and parents perhaps would cause mental health concerns with others outside the inquiry process. She agreed, amended her motion immediately to say that all the evidence could be given in camera to protect people's mental health. That's what she's agreed. So that takes away one of the arguments against this inquiry. But still, we'll see how that goes.